Ambassador Shin, President of IFANS, Excellencies, Ambassadors, dear colleagues, diplomat, student, faculty members, ladies and gentlemen, I'm very much delighted to be here with you this afternoon. And I thank you very much for this opportunity to share with you some thoughts about the achievement and the strategies on the way forward for Rwanda to completely overcome the consequences that resulted from the genocide against the Tutsi and the war crisis in Rwanda in 1994, and aiming to reach sustainable development. Rwanda is located in the Great Lakes region of the Central East Africa. And Rwanda has a population of 11 million on a surface of 26,300 square kilometers. This makes 416 people living on 1 square kilometer. We do understand that Rwanda is the most densely populated country in Africa. In Rwanda, we have 3 official languages. Kinyarwanda, that's a Rwandan language, which is almost spoken by every Rwandan. We speak French and English. In Rwanda, we have known very bad times that was caused by bad leadership that we had over so many years since our independence in 1962. This led to the 1994 genocide against the Tutsi, which left our country destroyed in all the aspects and to the very fabric of our society. The country's condition in 1994 was so low that 2 decades later we remain in a category of least developed countries in the world, as well as one that is aid dependent, that leaves us being vulnerable to any aid shock. Aid dependency can also mean the risk of unwanted political interference in domestic matters and in inability to ensure that all available resources are invested in such a way as to achieve the country's own development strategy. The government has responded to this very problem by putting in place strategies for aid management and for increasing domestic revenues, encouraging foreign direct investment, doing prudent international borrowing, and engaging much our diaspora. External financial flows from FDI and remittance have significantly increased in recent years and so have domestic revenues. Our experience over the last 22 years is of political stability under very strong central government, which have allowed us to prosper, and the country is a presidential republic with the president being the head of state. In Rwanda, we have a multi-party democracy since 2003. What does well on economic and social rights? We have promoted women's rights, and the representation of women in public offices are among the best in the world. Just to give one example, we have 64% women representation in our parliament. We have made impressive progress in fostering national reconciliation and undertaking institution reforms, which was not easy after the conflict of 1994. We have a well-organized state apparatus which extend through effective chain of responsibility from national to village level. The political system in Rwanda is a tripartite one with legal separation between the executive, bicameral parliament, and judiciary. This was established by the 2002 Constitution as amended to date. Rwanda is a multi-party democracy based on power sharing and dialogue and consensus. This is seen as central to the political settlement. The Rwandan Government Board, an institution of its type, the only institution of its kind in Africa, was established to promote decentralization and the principles and practices of good governance in public institutions, as well as to conduct research to promote accountability, transparency, and integrity in public affairs. Partnership between the government and the communities is seen as essential to building confidence in government, enabling citizens to take responsibility for their own development while maintaining effective, functional, and mutual accountability linkages between central and local government entities. The decentralization policy in Rwanda is designed to ensure transparency and accountability for local services delivery through citizen participation in planning. Since 2002, Rwanda's development has been driven by government development strategies encapsulated in Vision 2020, which aims to transform Rwanda by 2020 into a middle-income, socially inclusive country led by its private sector and serving as a regional technology and service hub. Since 2000, there have been significant advances in poverty reduction and a reduction in economic and social inequalities. The aim of Rwanda's development policy is the creation of socially inclusive and cohesive, decent society in which there will never again be genocide or civil strife. Rwanda has an open economy and has achieved impressive economic growth. Between 2000 and 2012, our GDP grew on an average of 8%, dipping in 2013 to 4.7 due to aid suspension and an agricultural shock, but rising again to 7% in 2014, to 7.5 in 2015, with projections of 8% growth in 2016. The country, my country, Rwanda, has an impressive record of macroeconomic stability. We are recognized for our fight against corruption, and we rank 55th out of 177 in 2014 Transparency International Corruption Perception Index. Rwanda has achieved tangible development results over the last 14 or so years. Our economy is one of the fastest growing in sub-Saharan Africa, with GDP per capita growing from US dollars 245 in 2004 to 771 2014. They have sure deed of economic transformation. Rwanda invested in accelerating development as well as enabling the poorest to graduate from poverty. And by 2015, Rwanda had achieved most of our MDG target. All of this has been made possible by adopting what we call homegrown solutions combined with generous FDI, public funds, external aid. Rwanda has been recognized as an example of good practices in the coordination and management of public funds as well as development assistance, where all the processes involves the discussion with the government or line ministries and is required to comply with the country's strategic plan. In order to maintain this economic growth, we know that there is an urgent need to diversify funding sources, mobilizing both foreign and domestic resources to invest in development as well as stimulating growth led by private sector. This process is already underway, and private flows, FDI, remittances, and domestic revenues have been increasing as a proportion of our GDP. However, external development finance from traditional donors has been declining, and the increase in non-traditional donors, FDIs, remittances, and domestic revenues has to be sufficient to offset this decline in development, external development finance. It is therefore clear that urgent priorities for the government of Rwanda must be maximizing domestic revenues, the growth of private industrial services, the sector capable of exporting at least and driving out import, and the encouragement of investment both from foreign and domestic. And also, we need to think about innovative solutions as a big requirement. It is in that way that we can say that Rwanda is steady and we are ready to contribute further from national domestic effort to make sure that we continue the growth that we have undertaken. The 1994 genocide against the Tutsi in Rwanda virtually destroyed all the government and institutions. As part of our effort to rebuild Rwanda and promote shared national identity, the government has drawn on aspects of Rwandan culture and traditional practices to enrich and adapt its development program to the country's need and context. The result is a set of homegrown solutions. Those are culturally owned practices translated into sustainable development programs. There are many of these. However, today we will discuss few of them. We will start with gacaca. Gacaca, the word gacaca refers to the small clearing where community would traditionally meet to discuss issues of concern. People of integrity, elders and leaders in a village, known as inyangamugayo in Kinyarwanda, would facilitate the discussion that any member of the community could take part in. Once everyone has spoken, the elders will reach a decision about how the problem will be solved. In this way, the church acted very much as a traditional court. In 2002, gacaca courts were revived as a way to process the millions of criminal cases that arose following the genocide. The aim of these traditional courts was to restore the social fabric of our society. In total, 1,958,634 genocide-related cases were tried through gacaca. The second homegrown solution that helped Rwanda to grow is what we call abunzi. Abunzi in English can be translated as mediation committees. Abunzi mediation committee can be seen as a hybrid form of justice, combining traditional with modern method of conflict resolution. The reintroduction of the Abunzi system was in 2004, and it was motivated in part by the desire to reduce the backlog of court cases, as well as decentralizing justice and make it much more affordable and available to citizens seeking to resolve conflict without the cost of going to the court. At the moment, today, Abunzis are fully integrated in the Rwandan justice system. Another homegrown solution is called Girinka. Girinka can be translated as you may have a cow. And it describes a century of cultural practices in Rwanda whereby a cow was given by one person to the other as a sign of gratitude or marriage dowry. The Girinka program was initiated in response to the alarming high rate of childhood malnutrition, and as a way of accelerating poverty reduction and integrating livestock and crop farming. This program is based on the premise that providing a dairy cow to poor households help to improve their livelihood as a result of a more nutritious and balanced diet from milk. It increased agricultural output through better soil fertilizing, as well as greater income for household result of selling the dairy product. Since introduction of Girinka in 2006, more than 198,000 beneficiaries have received cows. And by next year, we plan to have distributed 350,000 cows to poor families. The other system is system of imihigo. Imihigo in Kinyarwanda is, means vow to deliver. When you vow to deliver, imihigo, it also includes a system of guhiganwa, which means to compete among each other. In 2000, a shift in responsibilities of all levels of government as a result of the decentralization program required a new approach to monitor and evaluate the implementation. Local levels of government were now responsible for implementation development program, which meant that the central government and people of Rwanda needed a way to ensure accountability. In 2006, the Mihigo system, which is performance contract, was introduced to address this need. Since its introduction, Mihigo has been credited with improving accountability and quickening the pace of citizen-centered development activities and programs. Another program is Itorero, where young people, 20, 22, meet and discuss, learn languages, patriotism, social relations, sport, dancing, songs, and defense. This system was created in order to understand the culture of the country and to discuss our values. The other system, homegrown solutions, called Ingando. In the Ingando, it's a retreat of elders. They go stay far from home in a group for one specific reason. The Ingando has helped to reduce fear and suspicion and encourage reconciliation between genocide survivors and those whose family members perpetrated the genocide. The other system that Rwanda have used to grow is called Updehe, is to put in categories, levels of our society, so that when they go pay school fees, which each and every category is aware of how much the fees are, and every level of the social category is aware of what are the incentives and subsidies from the government. The other homegrown solution, which is similar to Semaul in Undo, is called Umuganda. Umuganda is introduced just to perform a difficult task. In the modern day, Umuganda can be described as community work. Every Saturday, every last Saturday of the month, Rwandans meet to perform Umuganda. And ever since its introduction, Muganda has contributed to building schools, to building power plants, to building roads. And since 2007, Muganda has contributed to more than 60 million US dollars to our national budget. Other two important homegrown solutions, one is called Umushyikirano, where everyone, Rwandan foreigners, living in Rwanda or living abroad can have a day to ask the government for accountability. And that very day, if even you are not in a room, you can send an SMS, you can send, you can call and ask your question, ask for accountability from central level leaders, from local governance leaders, and to the president himself. The other homegrown solution is the umwiherero, where all the leaders, top leaders, up to the director general level, in public, and in private, they meet, as well as civil society, they meet and discuss about the progress and find a solution to the challenges that have emerged from the implementation process. I will skip the whole the economic diplomacy from the Great Region, then I will speak mainly on Rwanda, Republic of Korea bilateral relations, which were established in 1963, and with COICA starting operations in 2006 in Kigali, and the office, the Embassy of Rwanda opening here in Seoul in 2009, and Korean Embassy opening in Rwanda in 2011. So far, we have seen so many projects together. We have implemented many projects with Korea private sectors, mainly the Korea Telecom. And our area of cooperation include agriculture, education, trade and investment, military and security. We also cooperate on ICT mainly, the broadband for all, with KT laying fiber optic in the whole country. The progress is at almost 70%. Looking forward to finalizing the project in the nearest future. And also cooperating with Korea, an institution called the KIPA, Korea Public Administration Institution, on e-learning. And as well, we have some projects on energy. And we have signed, we have signed an agreement with the Korea Internet Security Agency. And the Ministry of Health is having project in Rwanda as well. Those are just to name few. Next time, when you have plenty of time, we'll discuss in the details all about the partnership Rwanda, Republic of Korea, which, in my opinion, as the representative of the Republic of Rwanda here in Korea, I'm so proud of, and I see brighter future for our diplomatic relations. I thank you very much, and I wish you a very good evening.